Hello students. So in this lecture I'll list out all the major differences between microprocessor and microcontroller. In the previous lectures I discussed what is microcontroller. I gave you a brief definition about the microcontroller, what is embedded system, what are the different types of microcontrollers, that is how you can classify microcontrollers based on certain terms, based on certain terms, how you can classify microcontroller. Now in this lecture I will be listing out all the major differences between microprocessor and microcontroller. So to start with, as I've already told you, what is microprocessor? It is basically the heart of a computer system. Microprocessor is a heart of a computer system. It is just a processor. It is a processor which is very small in size. That's why the name is microprocessor. So it is just a CPU, or you can say it is just a processor. Whereas microcontroller, it is the heart of embedded system. So any embedded system will have the microcontroller, whereas a computer system will have microprocessor. Second difference, it is just a processor. Memory and input output have to be connected externally to the microprocessor. Obviously, as I have told you that microprocessor, it is just a processor on the chip. Whereas other external components like memory, input output ports, and other timer counters, they have to be connected externally to this microprocessor. Whereas microcontroller, it has everything embedded on a single chip. Like the processor, it has internal components, it has the internal memory, it has the input output components, everything embedded on a single chip. Or you can say it is a small computer. It is a small computer, or you can say it is a microcomputer on chip. As I've told you, microcontroller can also be called as microcomputer on chip, because on the chip everything is there. Now in case of microprocessor, since memory and input output has to be connected externally, the circuit, or you can say the system, becomes large and bulkier. Whereas in case of microcontroller, all the memory, all the RAM, ROM memory, as well as input output, they are present internally within the chip also. This makes the whole system small. Whereas in microprocessor, we have to connect external components to that processor, which will make the overall system bulkier and large. Now since it is bulkier, since the whole system that is consisting of microprocessor is bulkier, it cannot be used in compact systems, and hence it is somewhat, you can say it is somewhat inefficient. Whereas in case of microcontroller, since it is small, because everything is embedded on a single chip, the microcontroller is small in size and it can be used in compact systems, and hence it can be called as an efficient technique. So I can say that microcontroller is basically helpful in reducing the space, or it is basically used where in those applications where space is a critical consideration for a system, where you do not have space and you need some device that can do the task also, whereas it does not require that much amount of space in the system, you can go for microcontroller. Now, as the microprocessor is using external components, since this is microprocessor is just a processor on the chip, it needs external components for overall function, like the memory and the input output components. So the entire system, since we are using the external components with the processor, so the entire system that is consisting of microprocessor, entire system, the cost of the entire system increases. Whereas in the microcontroller, since everything is embedded on the chip, we do not have to use any external components for the complete function of the microcontroller. We can say that the cost of the entire system gets low, or it reduces. Now next difference is, now due to the external components, the entire power consumption is high. Due to the external components, the entire power consumption is high, hence it is not suitable to be used with devices running on stored power like batteries. Moreover, for microprocessors, power dissipation is also high because of these external devices or external components, you can say. Hence, it requires external cooling system. Whereas in case of microcontrollers, since external components are not used, or even if it is used, then it is very low, then the total power consumption gets low and can be used with devices or devices that are running on stored power like batteries. Now, most of the microprocessors do not have power saving features, whereas most of the microcontrollers have power saving modes like idle mode and power saving mode. This helps to reduce power consumption even further. Next difference is, since memory and input output components are connected externally to the microprocessor, so its speed gets slow, or you can say its computation speed gets slower because much more time is consumed, or you can say a lot of processor time is consumed in data transfer between external memory and the microprocessor. Whereas in case of microcontroller, since all the components are internal, most of the operations are internal instructions, so its speed is fast. Now, next difference is, microprocessor has less number of registers, hence more operations are memory based. Again, this will make the speed of the microprocessor, or you can say the speed of the microprocessor to be relatively slower. Whereas in case of microcontroller, it has more number of registers and hence it is easier to write the programs. Next difference is, microprocessors. In microprocessors, it is based on von Neumann architecture. In von Neumann architecture, both the program and the data are stored in the same memory. Whereas microcontrollers are based on Harvard architecture, where there is different memory for program as well as data. Microprocessors basically they do the computation, that is computational capacity of microprocessor is very high, hence can perform complex tasks. Whereas in case of microcontroller, less computational capacity when compared to microprocessors, and it is usually used for simpler tasks. And microprocessor based system can perform numerous tasks, whereas microcontroller based system can perform single or very few tasks. So this was the difference, major differences. And now where we can use the microprocessor and microcontroller. Microprocessors are generally used in personal computers, whereas microcontrollers can be used in washing machines, in microwave ovens, etc. Basically, microcontrollers are preferred for those applications where the need for computing power is not that much required as compared to the space, price per unit and cost. What I am trying to say is that in those applications where costs, space and price are critical considerations than the computing power, in those applications we can use microcontroller. For example, in TV remote control, there is no need for computing power of a microprocessor. In those applications, the space it takes, the power it consumes and the price per unit are much more critical considerations than the computing power. In those applications only we are going to use the microcontroller. So these were the differences between microprocessor and microcontroller. We'll move ahead with the 8051 microcontroller. In my next lecture, we'll start the features. I'm going to discuss about the features of 8051 microcontroller in my next class. I'm ending this class here. Thank you.